I don't really know if this is live, which is always the weird part for me. Oops. YouTube, Twitch. Sweet, I guess this should work. Oh yeah, streaming, awesome. Okay, I want to quote tweet my own tweet. That's the one. There we go. Alright, I don't need this. I can minimize this, I hope. Where does the chat come? Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I'm really new and bad at this. Okay. The goal of the stream is not really to teach anything. I mean, I hope you learn something, but I'm not actively trying to teach anything. I'm just trying to work on this habit tracking app and keep myself accountable. But of course, in the process, if you learn something, then how awesome is that, right? Let me make some space. Okay, this goes good. Alright. Okay, where am I? Huh, I have this open by default, which is weird. I must have done that. Yep, there we go. Alright, so the app, which is this app, wait, I lost my chat window. Oh, there it is. Cool, let me plug it out and put it on this monitor. Sweet. Hey, we got someone on YouTube. Hi. Alright. Oh, it tweets as restream. That's weird. I just want to tweet as me. Who knows how this works? Oh my god, there's too many. People will think I'm spamming them. Okay. Cool. What I want to do in this stream session is play some music first and then we'll get back to it. I'm sorry for the sad start. Oh, no. Hey. Can I change it from here? Yes, I can. Cool. What I want to do in this stream is I'm working on this habit tracking app. So how it kind of works is you can set things and then you can tick them off. It gives you this score, right? So the naive approach of doing this is to just keep +1, like just keep adding 1 if the score keeps on increasing. Let me all yeah. So for example, this app, yeah. So for example, this thing I worked on Friday, Saturday, and the day before. So you get this, but if I don't work on it, say in between for a day, that day goes to 0 and the next one also kind of just resets. So what I want to do here is I want to make it a little more forgiving, right? The idea is taken from Atomic Habits, the book by James Clear. I don't have the book here, it's in the other room. And it has this thing which says, don't miss twice. That's the rule. You can never miss twice. So what I want to do for this thing is, even if you miss one day, like if I miss Friday, but I pick it up on, say, Saturday, then it should just let me continue my streak and don't reset it to 0, right? So just be like a little more forgiving. I'm allowed to make one mistake, But if I make 2 mistakes in a row, then it's game over. Then it has to reset. So you get some leeway, but you can't do whatever you want. So um, let's see. This whole thing is a React app. So I want to say this is the code. Yeah, this is the code. So you have streak here, and the streak is calculated by this function getStreak, which I'm sure is somewhere. GetStreak. There we go. This is the getStreak function, to which I pass the entire logs of all the habit. When did you do something with the date and the activity? The date that is selected right now, so the date we're talking about, and the habit that we're talking about. So for example, this one is the work on side projects. I have I have a lot of code written which is kind of, I don't like it, it doesn't even work. But whatever. Okay, fine, it does have some useful code here. Let me zoom in. Oh, this is accept course. Okay. So, get streak, it says if selected date dot full. I honestly don't remember what that means because I wrote this code a week back and I don't remember. Okay, so the selected date, oh, full is like the full date. Okay, this is cool. It's 2019 22. Okay, so and we get today. So if selected date is greater than today's date, which means it's in the future, then assume or pretend we're talking about today, right? Because if it's in the future, then you obviously haven't done the thing. So for example, if this is 1, let me check some more. If you're at 3 today and you go to the next day, it's sad that this should be 0. It should still remain at 3, right? You haven't reached this date yet. So if it's in the future, just give today's number. That makes sense to me. I'm going to keep this part. Then we look at all the habit. Let me again control log. What's inside habit logs? Let's find out. It's undefined because I made it. Oh, sorry. I want logs. Stupid. Okay, so this is what is inside a log. It has a date, which has the same thing. It has a full and everything. And it has a habit we're talking about. So the ID and the habit and the days in which you do the habit. I guess I can delete these two from the logs. That seems useless. I just need the date and the ID. And then I kind of filter out by saying, is the habit that we're talking about the same habit? Can I actually do habit? Let me see what's inside the habit object. Habits. Okay, so these are all one, and they all have this thing, which is they have what days am I doing this habit thing on, what's it called, what's the ID, what's the time I've associated with it. Cool. So I think I wrote this before I had IDs. I was using the name as the primary key, which is horrible advice. You should not do that. So I can change this to logs. I look at each entry is such a bad variable. I look at each row in the log, and then from the row I take the habit and I want to match the ID of that habit if it matches the habit that we're talking about. Alright. So now console.log habit logs. This kind of filters out only the logs of the habit that we're talking about. For example, we're talking about work on side projects. That is what I should get here, right? For each one of them. Good. So, what now? So far, so good. Next, I'm just reading this code that I wrote, I don't know how many, like a week ago, because I don't understand it anymore. So, I hope it's helping you understand it too. Okay. Then I have had completed on. Okay, which does something. It takes a date and it tells you if you completed it on that date or not. So this variable is, I'm going to rename this variable to make it more obvious. It's did I complete, was it completed on date? And then you pass the date, right? So was it completed on date is a question, and then you pass the date. Can I just call it was completed? Was completed is a question. You ask the question, was it completed? And then you pass the date, which tells you if it was. Alright, there's a question. Utkarsh is asking, is this simple CRA or Gatsby? It's good old CRA. Yep, I don't use Gatsby for this because CRA is easier. I don't know what else to say. Okay. Cool. So this function is helpful. I want to keep it. Function to know if habit was completed on a specific date. Cool. So this is gonna come in handy. Past dates. That's not even a good. That's not even a useful comment. Past me does not like future me. Okay. Dates. I get nearby dates, which is useful, which is what renders the stop thingy. And then I filter them to get past dates. Okay. I guess that's useful. So you can't really set it for the future anyway, right? I thought I had that code which is, if it's the future, they then just assume it's today. So I don't know what this is going to be useful for, but anywho, is this a performance improvement? I'm trying to minimize the amount of computations. That doesn't sound like me. I try not to do premature optimizations. Anywho, we'll find out. So we have this. Now we have, if it's a pass date without completion, streak is reset to 0. This is the code I have right now. So check out how work on side projects is 3 on a Saturday. If you go on a Friday, it's gone, right? It resets to 0. So you have 1 here, you have 0 here, you have 1 here. And this kind of works because if it's a past date and you did not do it, then it should reset to 0. It used to reset to 0, right? I didn't have the logic that I want to be more lenient. So if you miss a day, it resets to 0. Now what I want to do, if you miss 2 days in a row, then it resets to 0. So this gotta go. And oh god, I don't. Okay, I have a bunch of logic. If it's a pass date without completion, streak is reset to 0. That's not what we want. So I'm gonna delete this code, I guess. So one of the things that I like to do is when I have a complicated logic, which already behaves in a certain way, I re-implement it in the new way I want, because sometimes just like throwing away the code and rewriting it is a better solution is more effective than trying to understand the code and finding the exact spot you're supposed to change it. From a writing code point of view, it's probably a bad idea. It's not as productive because you have all of this code, right? And you can do a very tiny diff. But from an understanding perspective, it makes a lot more sense to me to just throw this away and rewrite it again. Because that's going to be easier, right? I have no idea what's going on here. So I'm going to delete this. Let's keep this count. I don't know why I call it count. It should be called streak. So right now the logic says just return 0 always. Even if it is 0, even if you did the thing, just say 0. So the first test case I want to write is, I did it on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So Saturday it should say 3, right? Because consecutive. So I'm going to do consecutive first and then add the other functionality. Cool. I have these dates which help. What I want to do is start from the last day, the first day in the calendar, and keep moving forward. So I keep adding because the streak for a certain day depends on what was the number before that, right? So I want to, if it was, let me say, if the number was, I started working on Thursday, so Thursday is 1, Friday is 2. For Saturday, I can just add Friday plus 1. I don't have to recalculate, right? So I'm trying to think of, is it possible to do this simply by using recursion? Recursion, I always get, what do you say? Recursion is hard, I want to say. I don't know, I'm going to get comments like this guy is a noob, but recursion is hard, it's not easy. I have a hard time wrapping my head around it. So let me try this. So, okay, so this code should look like this. If the habit was completed, was completed on a certain date. The selected date, I guess. If it was completed on a selected date, what I want to do is return return the previous days plus 1. And the previous day would take, what does it take? It takes logs, it takes selected date, which has to be, okay, I'm going to say yesterday is selected date minus 1. This is fake code, this is not going to work. Selected date should be yesterday, and the habit, which is the same. Cool, and then I can delete this. There are two things to be worried about here. The first one is this is fake code, so I need to fix that. The other one is, will this go into an infinite loop, because it keeps going back forever, right? It should keep going back forever, right? If you've been doing a habit for 2 years, then it should count all the way back to 2 years, until and unless it fails. If you did not do an activity, then it should fail, right? So we need to add that. Oh, which we have. So it goes back there and it says, if it was completed, then return this. Ooh, if it was not completed, right? Else case. So if it was completed, then keep going back. And if it was not completed, then I just return 0, right? So it's like saying, if you did the activity yesterday, then add plus 1 to it. If you did not do the activity, oh shit, wait, this is today. Okay, we have a question. Do you think recursion is better performance-wise compared to iteration? I have two answers to that, which is, the first one is, in the context of this app, which kind of compares, to be honest, the thing it does is, it filters an array and adds a number to it, right? So in the context of this app, it makes no damn difference. It makes almost 0 difference, right? So you wouldn't run out of RAM, don't worry. In a case where you have a bigger set, right? Imagine if this was 2 years of data for 100,000 people, right? Then you kind of have to worry about those questions. In that case, I would say recursion and iteration, it depends on what you're doing in it. So what are the things that could take time? The computation of calculating a streak would take time, which would be the same in both. The other thing that could take time is variable, or performance-wise variable instantiation. So when you're doing iterations, you can reuse a lot of same variables. But when you're doing recursion, you kind of recall the functions, you create another scope, which can take a lot of RAM. So iteration would actually probably fare better in that case. But again, a reminder, for most applications, or at least for most applications that I work on, I never really have to worry about those. So the usual advice is measure it, and if it feels that it's wrong, it's taking too much space, then optimize it, right? So in this case, I haven't checked, of course, I'm still writing, but we can measure. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be much. It's one person's data. It's not complicated. Cool. Coming back to this. Okay, so I'm saying if it was completed on a certain date, then keep adding, right? I should return 1 plus 3. Oh shit, now I'm confused again. So let's take example. If the selected date is today, then I'm saying if it was completed today, then add 1 into whatever you had. If it wasn't completed today, then reset it to 0. I'm doing the hard version first where you don't get an extra day off. So I'm saying if you did not do it today, then your previous streak doesn't matter. We should just reset it, right? This is also a bad example because in the context of today, you might not want to reset it because the day is not over. I am working on my side project right now, so it shouldn't reset it to 0, right? I will do it and then I will tick it, so I should get those points. So there's another caveat here. It's like if the selected date is today, then we should not return 0. We should just return what was here. So I'm going to say if we're talking about, or maybe let's not go. I don't want to complicate it more. Today is an exception. Today you want to be slightly more forgiving, right? So let's talk about Thursday, Friday. If you did it on Thursday, okay, so we're talking about selected date is now Friday. So if you did the activity on Friday, then just add the previous day plus 1. If you did not do it, then just reset it to 0 because the previous one doesn't matter, right? This is hard mode. This is before we apply 1 day mistake allowed. Okay. Okay. Now I hope this works. It might get into a memory leak because I don't see a case here and it keeps going infinitely back. We'll find out. Cool. Let's implement this. So yesterday is going to be selected date minus 1. I honestly don't know what selected date is. I'm going to comment this out. And I'm going to say console log selected date. Alright. Okay, this is what we get. We get a day, which is useless. We get full, which is what we want. Okay. So full is something we can play with. Full is... I'm sorry if this error is annoying you. I don't clean up my errors. Drawer is not used, and what is not used? Flex is not used, and reset is not used. Just comment these out. Whoops. Yeah, comment this. I don't think you can. Can you comment import statements? Huh, you can. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. It's just JavaScript. Cool, that is went away, and was completed is right here. I'm gonna use it. Cool. So this is the date. I'm gonna go one date before this, like yesterday. Oof. How do how do you do that? Wait, don't I already have code to move dates around? Nearby dates. Okay. Let's check what I have in nearby dates. Yikes. Nearby dates is a function which gets a new date. Oh, there we go. You can do set date, get date, plus. Oh my god, this is copy paste. Oh, I need the entire object, don't I? I need this whole object. I give it a raw date and it will convert it into a good date. So I need this whole thing over here. Let me grab. Oh shit! I'm doing something stupid, which is I already have all of these dates, right? So I can find which date am I talking about and do a -1 in the array. That's okay. So index of today's date is going to be dates, and I can use the find function, which will give me like I put a function inside it. It will iterate over each of them, and I can say date dot full is selected date dot full. right? This way I get the, oopsie, what did I do? Oh, wrong side, sorry. Yeah, so this way I get the index of the date we're talking about. Console log index, right? Oh no, this gives me the date. What? How do you find the index of an object inside an array? Does object of, what do you say, index of take an object? Does index of take an object? Yeah, there we go. There's an answer below. Programming, everyone, is just a bunch of copy paste. I think you can use the map function. Oh, I can convert it into not an object and do it. That makes sense to me. Cool, so I'm gonna map through all the dates, and date is gonna be date.full, and then I'm gonna find in this and say, I can get the date, and I can say date.full is selected. Oh, sorry, I want to. I was gonna make the same mistake. Index of date. Sorry, selected date dot full. Cool. So this first part flattens the array out into only giving you the date string, and then the index of, I can actually get the date string. Console log, cross fingers. Cool, we get it. And you get 14. Cool. So yesterday, let me go back. Yesterday is get nearby dates. Just dates. I already have dates. Dates and index -1. That should work. So I have yesterday's date. Okay. Which is what I have passed here. Now, dates is limited place, right? Dates is only until here, which means it will run out, which means yesterday might not be a thing. And when you pass it to selected date, I don't know what it does. It doesn't care. It doesn't catch that, which is bad. Okay. Can I say if I'm going to pull yesterday out and say if yesterday is not defined because this doesn't exist, then return 0, right? It's like if we don't know about it, then we don't want to count that streak, so we can return 0. All of this feels incorrect, but we'll find out. Okay, fine, let's see. Get small. Okay, obviously this is wrong. So it starts here where the first day I completed it, it says 2 and then it becomes 4. So I'm obviously adding too much here. Let's see what's wrong. We're starting at Thursday, which is the first time I did this. Somebody said use map or some functions. Oh, I have a feeling the chat might be a little delayed. I'm getting your messages slightly late. So if you're getting my response slightly late, I'm sorry about that. Cool. So when we're talking about Thursday, it goes here and it says was it completed on Thursday, and it returns true. Then I say add 1 to get streak for the previous day. So it loops again and it goes to the previous day, which is Wednesday, and it wasn't completed, right? So it goes straight here to there. It returns a 0, which means the final thing should be 1 plus 0, which is not what's happening. Okay, sanity test. How many times this function should run? It should run for Thursday, then it should run from Wednesday. So it should be ran, and then I can see how many times it will actually run. Cool. So when I go on, it will also get multiplied by the number of habits. Okay, how many habits do I have? I'm gonna delete all the habits just so that I can have a clean space to work with. Okay, no running. Oh god, this is slow. No reading. Thank you. Yeah, I only do writing, I guess. So, this is stupid to begin with. Okay. Uh, let's go to Thursday. It ran once. Good. When I go to Friday, it ran once. So the total count is 2. Good. So it only runs once if there are no activities, and it gives you 0. If Thursday is checked, how many times did it run? So Friday it ran once. When I go to Thursday, it ran twice, which is good because it runs once for Thursday and then to check it goes to Wednesday. So that could make sense. What results in this 1 plus though? Let me add something here. Previous streak is this logic, and then I add 1 here, right? Yeah, that still makes sense. Okay, weird formatting, but fine. Oh, there's a +1 here. Why is there a +1 at the end of it? What? I didn't see it because it was outside my screen. God damn it. Okay. Oh, so the logic was right all along. Good. So I didn't have to reset my habits. Cool. So Thursday I did this. It goes to 1. Friday it goes to 2. Saturday it goes to 3. And then if you skip Friday, Friday goes to 0. Thursday is 1. Saturday is 1. Awesome. That's perfect. Now this is the hard mode, right? Which is like you get no offs. I don't like hard mode. I want to make it slightly simpler, which is it should. Let me clean this up a little bit. I'm going to say if there's no yesterday, return 0. I don't need an if else with if there's a 0, so I can actually just do this. And the fact that I'm returning here, it's not going to come here. So let me just say if was not completed, then return 0. And then I can remove this. And then finally, the only case that is left is that you completed the habit. So return 1 plus whatever. So this kind of makes it slightly cleaner, right? Cool. Yeah. Okay. Now what I want to do is, if it was not completed a certain day, but it was completed the previous day, give the guy a little credit, right? Just use that. So it should be, let's see. If it wasn't completed the previous day, that's okay, we forgive you. But if it was also not completed the previous day, so I'm gonna do a day before yesterday, which is gonna be index -2. And if it also wasn't completed before that, then screw you, then you get a 0. But if it was completed before that, then you get to go forward. So you get, I think you just get this. You don't get a 1 plus. That's the nice thing. So we want you to carry the same habit, but we don't want to give you a +1 for it. So I think that makes sense. Let me try this again in my head. If there's no yesterday, that means reset it to 0. If it was completed, let's play with an example. What should happen is I did it on Wednesday, I did it on Thursday, so it goes to 2. Friday I did not do it, but it should still remain 2. So let's play with that in our head. It's Friday now. It's working, so it's good. And this goes to 3. Awesome. So it's Friday now, and the logic goes here. If no yesterday, there is a yesterday. If it was completed today, like selected date, the one we're talking about, which is Friday. If it wasn't, which it comes here, then check if it was done day before. So we go wait, what? Oh yeah. So check if it was done the previous day. It was done the previous day. So then we say just return that day's number. Shouldn't this be day before yesterday? Oh no, it doesn't have to be because yesterday still remains the same. That is so cool. I'm actually impressed by this logic. Cool. So Wednesday you didn't do it. Wednesday you completed it. Thursday you completed it. Friday you skipped it. We forgive you. Saturday you get to start at 2 and you can go to 3. I love it. This totally makes sense. Alright, now I need to write some good comments here because I will forget. You know it, I will forget. Okay. I'm gonna pull these two dates beforehand so that it's nicer. Um, get previous days of selected date. I should probably not call this yesterday because it's not yesterday, right? It's the day, it's the previous day. So, for example, today is Saturday, but if we're talking about Thursday here, then the yesterday becomes Wednesday, which is weird. It's not yesterday. So let's rename this to day before, and it's like day before the day before. I'm gonna say previous day, and this is, I don't know. I'm tired. I don't know what to call it. It's the previous day. Uh, cool. Let's see if this still makes sense. Okay, so we get two previous days, which is awesome. If we have ran out of days on the left side, ran out of days on the left, assume it was done, right? If we don't know about it, if it's outside our calendar, then you obviously didn't do it, right? We didn't know about it. It's not in the app. Then we say if, wait, these two are two different cases. The funny thing is this has actually become longer, so I'm gonna pull this out here. Wait, what did I do? Yeah. I'm gonna pull this out and say if it was done on selected date, add 1 to the previous running streak. The streak is always running, so yeah. Add 1 to the previous streak, right? Where's the if case? Oh, sorry. That's stupid. Look at it, it's step 15 now. I'm gonna say if it was completed, then do this. The only obvious case is that it wasn't done, so I'm gonna say over here. I'm saying case it. Okay. If it was done the day before that, then no, I want to say if it wasn't even done the day before that. I want to write a positive case because it's easier to think about positive than negative. It's how as humans we're stupid. Or I'm stupid. I don't want to call you folks stupid. Okay. And then I'm just gonna call it else to keep it linked. Okay. The comment is if it was completed the day before that, give this guy a break. Let them keep their streak, right? One mistake is allowed. I'm gonna say one mistake is forgiven, right? We believe in second chances here. And if he doesn't even do that, then two mistakes, what do you say? Two strikes, you're out. What's the saying? Strike one, something, strike two, you're out. It's silly because in baseball you actually are out at strike 3, but sorry, real life's not baseball. Screw you. Cool, let's test the bad case, which is the other Wednesdays you get 1, your Thursday you get 2. Oops. Friday you did not do it, we forgive it. But what if you don't do it 2 days in a row? So You do Wednesday, you skip Thursday, you skip Friday, so both of these go to 0. And Saturday you have to start from 1. This is awesome. Cool. So not only do you lose the streak in like the future, like on today you can't get the benefits of 2 days before. Both of these numbers go to 0, right? Whereas if you actually did it, you would keep the streak at 2, right? So even though you didn't do it, you have 2 here. But if you skip it, both of these numbers go to 0. That's awesome. That works. Huh. Okay. What time is it? Whoa, it's been 38 minutes. Okay. This took me for a while, but I'm really happy with how this looks. I can understand it, which is awesome, which is more than I could ask for, honestly. Cool. So I'm gonna deploy this to wherever I'm working on this. Git add. I'm sorry you can't see the code. It's right now a private repo. I'm trying to not, complete it and then share it. I usually don't do that, but yeah, new year, new me. Add forgiving streaks. That's another benefit of working on your own thing. Nobody gets to what origin head. What did I do wrong? Wait, is this not tracked? It is tracked. let me take care of that. I don't want you folks to see messages from my wife. Alright, there we go. Um, cool, so I'm gonna build it and deploy it. Where's my music? What's this song? Ooh, it's 1975. I like this part. It's running. It's running. It's already 50 hours now. This is gonna be boring. I'm probably just gonna deploy this and check it on my phone. Alright. Let's deploy it now. Now it takes a while, so I'm gonna add a notify so that when it's done, it tells me it's done. Right, and then I can do other things like check the song, test the app. Okay, I want to show you the notify. There we go. Yep. I want to alias this URL to. I don't want to show you where it is. But it's fine. Don't use it, please. I'm still working on it. So if you put your data there, it might disappear because I might make breaking changes. I don't want it to be. It's happened to me. I got like a streak going, but then I had to make some breaking changes and my streak disappeared. So that's not nice. Okay, let's see. Habit. Okay, let's refresh. Sweet. It looks way better on mobile than it does on this thing. Cool. That's why I'm gonna stop. Thank you for tuning in. How do you? My volume is stuck. Awesome. Yes, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you watching this. And bye bye. I'm gonna I'm gonna do something else now. I'm gonna go have dinner maybe. I don't know. Bye.